What would you do? If you could travel through time? Fix a mistake? Save someone you lost? Or maybe, change the world? But what if I told you? Every change comes with a price? And sometimes, that price is reality itself? This is the story of Dr. Elias Hart. Physicist, genius, time traveler, and the man who almost destroyed everything. Test Tube Chapter 1, The Man Who Challenged Time. Dr. Elias Hart wasn't famous. He wasn't flashy. But in the world of quantum mechanics, he was a legend. At just 33, Elias published a theory so bold, it was rejected by almost every journal. He called it the paradox engine. The theory? Time is not linear. It's a loop. And if you could manipulate the loop, you could bend reality. But Elias didn't want fame. He wanted closure. 5 years ago, he lost his wife, Lila, in a car accident. And that night, he vowed to do the impossible. Not to move on, but to go back. Whole Chapter 2, The First Experiment. Elias isolated himself. He turned his grief into obsession. His lab became a prison of chalkboards, simulations, and sleepless nights. And then, he cracked it. Using entangled particles and a rotating gravitational singularity, he bent time inside a controlled field. A pocket of time isolated and reversible. He tested it on objects. Then on insects. And finally, on himself. Movie camera scene, Elias steps into a glowing chamber. He breathes deeply. Pulls the lever. In a flash, he was back. Just 5 minutes. But it worked. Time travel was real. And Elias was the first to do it. Cyclone Chapter 3, The Butterfly Returns. He didn't stop there. 5 minutes became 5 hours. Then 5 days. Each jump more dangerous than the last. And then, he did it. He went back to the day Lila died. He stopped her from getting in the car. He saved her life. He came back to the present, heart pounding. And Lila was alive. But something else was wrong. Brain Chapter 4, Fractures in Reality. Time fractures started small. A light switch in his lab worked in reverse. Coffee would pour upward. People forgot things they just said. Some even forgot him. Reality was unstable. You see, Elias didn't just change the past. He fractured the loop. In quantum theory, every decision spawns a new possibility. A timeline. But Elias created a paradox. 2 timelines now occupied the same space. One where Lila died. And one where she lived. But both couldn't exist. And the universe? It began to correct itself. Hourglass Not Done Chapter 5, The Quantum Paradox. Scientists call it a temporal convergence. When opposing realities collapse into each other, reality began rewriting itself. People vanished. Memories blurred. Even Elias' own body began to glitch, phasing in and out. The worst part? Lila started to remember. She had memories of dying. Dreams of a crash that never happened. And in every dream Elias was watching. She looked at him and whispered, "What did you do?" Elias realized. Saving her meant destroying everything else. Warning Chapter 6, The Dilemma. He had one chance. To go back again. And stop himself. But how do you stop yourself? Clapperboard scene, Elias stands in front of the machine. His hands tremble. He steps in. One last jump. He goes back to the moment before he saved Lila. There, he sees himself. Younger. Desperate. Hopeful. Elias begs himself. Don't do it. She lives, but everyone else dies. But the younger version screams, "I can't lose her again." Two men. One choice. Save one life. Or save reality. Collision Chapter 7, Collision Point. They fight. Not with fists, but with logic. Emotion. Desperation. The chamber sparks. Reality splits. Outside the window. The sky flickers like a broken screen. Mountains shift. Oceans boil. Buildings vanish. Elias makes a choice. He shuts the machine down. Forces the paradox to collapse. And reality? Goes black. Puzzle Piece Chapter 8, The Reset. Elias wakes up. In his lab. Everything is normal. Lila is gone. Again. But something's different. His journal is blank except one line. Some stories must end for others to begin. He smiles. A tear falls. And he walks out into the world. Free. Microscope Chapter 9, What is a paradox? Real science. Now, let's talk science. What Elias faced is known as a grandfather paradox. If you go back and change the past, how can the future you came from still exist? This is where quantum theory comes in. Some physicists believe in many worlds interpretation. Every time a choice is made, a new timeline is created. Others argue time is fixed. No matter what you do, you can't change the outcome. In Elias' case, he tried to merge two realities, creating an impossible loop. This isn't just fiction. Real scientists like Kip Thorne and Sean Carroll have explored similar concepts. And quantum computers today? They're beginning to simulate these very paradoxes. Time travel might not be science fiction forever. Milky Way Chapter 10, The Message Behind the Madness. At its core, this story isn't just about time machines. It's about grief, control, and the illusion that we can fix the past. We all have a moment we'd erase if we could. A mistake. A loss. A regret. But the truth? The past shapes us. It hurts. It teaches. Elias learned the hard way. That letting go is sometimes the most powerful choice. And maybe that's the message for all of us. Direct Hit Chapter 11, Your Takeaway. So what now? Take this story and ask yourself. What are you trying to change? What are you holding on to that's holding you back? And what would it take to finally let go? Sometimes, the only way forward is to stop running backward. Wrapped Gift Chapter 12, The After Credit Reveal, hook for next episode. A man walks into a lab. He pulls out a USB drive labeled E.Heart Backup 2097. He plugs it in. The screen glows. Lila's face appears. She speaks. If you're seeing this, it means Elias failed. Pushpin to be continued. If this story gave you chills, don't keep it to yourself. Backhand index pointing right comment below. I'm ready to break the loop. Backhand index pointing right like. Share. And subscribe for more epic sci-fi that blends story and science. Because we don't just tell stories here. We wake people up. And remember, reality is fragile. Time is a mystery. But your choices shape everything. See you in the next timeline. Clapperboard end screen. Subscribe, watch next, follow for more.